Hello friends, welcome to my channel Sujata's Tuition. Today we are going to learn from textbook in history for class 6, chapter number 5, Kingdom, King and an Early Republic. In this chapter we are going to learn about the ancient kingdom, king and early republic. Today we all know that we choose our representative by casting our vote on the day of election, and our leaders are chosen who take decision for us. But in ancient time the process is somewhat difficult for choosing leader or rajas. What is this process? We all going to study in this chapter. The first question came, how some men become rulers. Choosing leader or ruler by voting is something that has become common during the last 50 years. Why? Because we are a democratic country and there is every citizen have right to vote, and hence each citizen act on his right to vote and choose his leader for the decision making. But in ancient time, around 3000 years ago, that is around 1000 BC, the process of choosing rajas is somewhat different. Some men now become recognized as rajas by performing very big sacrifice. तो क्या होता था, जैसे आज हम इलेक्शन के थ्रू अपना लीडर चुनते हैं, बट एंशियंट टाइम में ये जो लोग थे वो क्या करते थे, वेरी बिग सैक्रिफाइस परफॉर्म करते थे और उसके ज़रिए वो खुद को एक राजा ऐसा रिकॉग्नाइज करते थे. तो वो कौन सा सैक्रिफाइस रहता था? एक ऐसा ही सैक्रिफाइस है जिसका नाम है अश्वमेध और हॉर्स सैक्रिफाइस. क्या होता था इसमें? द हॉर्स वॉज लेट लूज टू वैंडर फ्रीली एंड इट वॉज गार्डेड बाय द राजाज मेन. If horse wandered into the kingdom of other raja and they stop it, they had to fight. And if they allow horse to pass, it meant that they accepted the raja who wanted to perform sacrifice and was stronger than them. तो इस अश्वमेध यज्ञ में ये होता था कि एक जो राजा रहता था वो एक हॉर्स को वेंडर करने के लिए फ्रीली छोड़ देता था और उस हॉर्स के साथ उस राजा के कुछ गार्डमैन रहते थे. तो जब ये हॉर्स किसी दूसरे राजा के टेरिटरी में जाता था, अगर उस दूसरे राजा ने इस हॉर्स को रोका तो उसे उसके साथ क्या करना करता था, फाइट करना पड़ती थी. और अगर सामने वाले राजा ने इस हॉर्स को रोका नहीं तो इसका मतलब ये रहता था कि उसने जो जिसका ये हॉर्स है उस राजा की सॉवरिटी एक्सेप्ट कर ली, मतलब वो राजा खुद की हार मान लेता था. एंड देन ये जो हारा हुआ राजा रहता था, दिस राजाज वेयर देन इनवाइटेड टू द सैक्रिफाइस ऑफ द राजा हु परफॉर्म दिस अश्वमेध यज्ञ and which was performed by specially trained priests who were rewarded with the gift. और ये जो अश्वमेध यज्ञ रहता था ये कौन परफॉर्म करता था? जो स्पेशली ट्रेन प्रीस्ट रहते थे वो परफॉर्म करते थे और इसके बदले में उन्हें गिफ्ट रिवार्ड में मिलते थे. द राजा हु ऑर्गेनाइज सैक्रिफाइस वॉज रिकॉग्नाइज एज बीइंग वेरी पावरफुल एंड ऑल दोज हु केम ब्रॉट गिफ्ट फॉर हिम. जो राजा ये अश्वमेध यज्ञ परफॉर्म करता था और जो राजा उसके सामने हार मानता था वो उसके लिए क्या लाते थे? गिफ्ट लाते थे. सो द राजा हु इज परफॉर्मिंग दिस अश्वमेध यज्ञ वॉज अ सेंट्रल फिगर इन दिस रिचुअल हु सीट ऑन स्पेशल सीट, थ्रोन और टाइगर स्किन. His charioteer who was a companion in the battle field also witness his exploit and chant the tales of his glory. The relative of Raja, especially wives and son, also perform variety of minor ritual. Other Rajas were simply spectator who had to sit and watch the performance of sacrifice. The priest performed ritual including sprinkling or sacred water on the king. और ये जो ऑर्डिनरी पीपल रहती थी जिन्हें क्या कहते थे? विश कहते थे. विश और वैश्य वो भी क्या करते थे? राजा के लिए गिफ्ट आनते थे. पर ऐसे भी कुछ लोग थे जिनको इस यज्ञ में अलाउ नहीं किया जाता था और वो कौन थे? वो थे शूद्र. they are excluded from many rituals. अब यहाँ पे दिया है make a list of all those who will be present at the sacrifice. Which are the categories that are described in terms of their occupation? तो सबसे पहले यहाँ पे दिया है शूद्र जिनको इस परफॉर्मेंस में आने को नहीं अलाउ करते थे. शूद्रास आर एक्सक्लूडेड फ्रॉम परफॉर्मिंग सैक्रिफाइस. प्रीस्ट इज द figure which is trained for performing yajna or ashwamedh yajna, and these priests perform rituals of yajna. Raja is a central figure. Raja's wives and son also perform minor ritual. Other rajas are the spectator who मतलब जो अदर राजा, कौन से राजा जो हारे हुए थे वो क्या करते थे, एज अ स्पेक्टेटर उस यज्ञ के लिए आते थे. चैरिएटर एक ऐसा साथी रहता था राजा का जिसने ये सब देखा है कि ये राजा कितना एक्सप्लॉइटेटिव है. जैसे एक हॉर्स को वेंडर करने के लिए छोड़ दिया और सभी राजा को उसके साथ ले लिया. तो ये जो विटनेस करता था ये सारा एक्सप्लॉइट, ये चैरिएटर वो भी क्या करता था, इस अश्वमेध यज्ञ में पार्टिसिपेट करता था और चैंटेड द टेल्स ऑफ ग्लोरी ऑफ राजा. और सबसे आखिर में विश आर द ऑर्डिनरी पीपल who are allowed in the yajna. The next point is Varna. We have many books that were composed in North India, especially the area which is drained by the river Ganga and Yamuna, and the books which are written in the latter Vedic period consisting some rules about society. Which are these books? Samaved, Yajurved, Atharvaved. These are the books which are written during latter Vedic period, and Rigveda is the book which is written during Vedic period. So Rigveda is about Vedic period and Samved, Yajurved, Atharvaved is about latter Vedic period. So what is special about these three books? These consist of some rules about society. What are these rules? There were different groups in the society at this time. Which are these different group of people? Some are priests, some are warriors, some are farmers, herders, traders, some are craft person, laborers or fishing folk. There are people who are live in forest. Some priests and warriors were very rich along with some farmers and traders. But there are people like herder, craft person, laborers, fishing folk, hunter-gatherers were very poor. So according to their economic status, their occupation, the priest divided people into 4 groups, and the name of that group are called Varna. According to them, each Varna had a different set of function. The first Varna was that of Brahman. Brahman expected to study the Vedas or teach Vedas, perform sacrifices and receive gift. So very first Varna is Brahman. Second place were the rulers, which is known as Kshatriya. And what is they expected to do? They expected to fight battle and protect people. Hence first Varna Brahman, second Varna Kshatriya. Third were the Vish or Vaishya. And what is the function they expected to do? They expected to be farmer, herder, trader. Both Kshatriya and Vaishya could perform sacrifices. So first is Brahman, second Kshatriya, third Vaishya. The last were Shudra, who had to serve other 3 groups. Which are 3 groups? Brahman, Kshatriya and Vaishya, and could not perform any ritual. Women are also grouped with the Shudras, and hence women and Shudra not allowed to study Vedas. So these are the 4 Varna system, that is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra. The priest also said that these groups were decided on the basis of birth. What is mean? It, for example, if one's father and mother were Brahman, one would automatically become Brahman and so on. Later they classified some people as untouchable. These included some craftsperson, hunters and gatherers, as well as people who helped to perform burials and cremations. सबसे पहले ये फोर फोल्ड वर्ण सिस्टम आया. उसके बाद प्रिस्ट ने कुछ ऐसे तबके के लोगों को क्या क्लासिफाई किया, अनटचेबल, जो कौन सा काम करते थे, कुछ क्राफ्ट पर्सन थे, कुछ हंटर्स थे, कुछ गैदरर्स थे और कुछ पीपल थे जो बरियल और क्रिमेशन परफॉर्म करते थे. इनको सबको एक अनटचेबल ग्रुप में प्रीस्ट ने क्लासिफाई किया. द प्रीस्ट सेड दैट कॉन्टैक्ट विद दिस ग्रुप वॉज polluting. So this is somewhat discriminating process that many people did not accept the system of Varna laid down by Brahman. There are some king who thought that they were superior to priest. Others felt that birth could not be basis for deciding which Varna people belong to. There are some people who felt that there should be no difference among the people based on occupation. Others felt that everybody should be able to perform rituals, and others condemned practice of untouchability. Also, there are many areas in subcontinent such as the northeast where social and economic differences are not so sharp. Why? The main reason is influence of priest was limited. So, during this latter Vedic period, the influence of priest is so vast that along with the fourfold Varna system, they classified some people as untouchable and excluded these people. Why? Because they put forth the reason that contact with this group was polluting. तो जो ये बात थी ये सबको राज नहीं आई, क्योंकि कुछ किंग ऐसा मानते थे कि वो ब्राह्मण से भी सुपीरियर है. कुछ लोगों को लगता था कि बर्थ एक ही ऐसा बेसिस नहीं होना चाहिए जो डिसाइड करे कि कौन सा वर्ण है. कुछ लोगों को लगता था कि ऑक्यूपेशन के बीच में भी डिफरेंसेस नहीं होने चाहिए. तो ऐसे भी डिफरेंस मानने वाले लोग थे जो ये सिस्टम का एक्सेप्टेंस नहीं चाहते थे. और ये जो नॉर्थ ईस्ट रीजन है हमारे इंडिया का, जहाँ पे हमारा आज का आसाम, मेघालय, त्रिपुरा, ये जो रीजन है ट्राइबल एरिया है मैक्सिममली वो, तो वहाँ पे जो सोशल और इकोनॉमिक डिफरेंसेस है जो नॉर्थ इंडिया में मैक्सिमम उस समय में पाए जाते थे वो ज़्यादा नहीं थे. क्यों? क्योंकि उस रीजन में प्रिस्ट का इन्फ्लुएंस लिमिटेड रहा था, इसीलिए सोशल और इकोनॉमिक डिफरेंसेस ज़्यादा उस रीजन में नहीं पाए गए. लेकिन नॉर्थ इंडिया के रीजन में these are the sharp differences among the people in the society. So we are going to learn next Janapad. What is Janpad? The literal meaning, Jana means people and Pada means the set its foot. So Janpada means the land where Jana set its foot is called Janapad. The Raja who performed big sacrifice were now being recognized as a Raja of this Janapad rather than Jana, and this Janpad literally means the land where Jana set its foot and settled down. Some important Janpad are given in the map 4. So this is the map where some important Janpad are given. So these are the important Janapadas. Archaeologists have excavated number of settlements in these Janapadas, such as Purana Kila in Delhi, Hastinapur near Meerut, and Atranji Khera near Itaha. These Hastinapur near Meerut and Atranji Khera near Itaha are in Uttar Pradesh. They found that people live in huts, kept cattle, and other animals. They also grew variety of crops like rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugar cane, sesame and mustard. अब यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन दिया है, is there a crop in this list that was not mentioned in chapter 3? तो यहाँ पे जो sugar cane है, this is not mentioned during the Vedic period people's diet. This is later Vedic. So this sugar cane is added later Vedic period. इस फिगर में आप देख सकते हैं, this is the pot which is made up of a special metal which is very smooth and called painted grey ware. They are plates or bowls and are most common vessels made out of painted grey ware. They are extremely fine to touch and with nice and smooth surface. May these pots are used on special occasion for important people to serve special foods. So these pots, that is painted grey ware, belong to later Vedic period. Along with painted grey ware, there are also earthen pots. Some are grey, some are red. And one special type of pottery found in site are also known as painted grey ware, जिसे हमें अभी फिगर में देखा. As is obvious from the name, these grey pots has painted design, usually simple line and geometric pattern. The next point is महाजनपद. जैसे हमने देखा था जनपदा. What is जनपदा? जनपदा means the land where Jana set its foot. Then what is Mahajanpada? The Mahajanpada where the Janapada which are grown prominently among these and became Mahajanpada. And when this happened? This happened around 500 BCE, that is 2500 years ago. Some Janpada become more important than other and were known as Mahajanpad. This Mahajanpad has capital city and many of these were fortified. These fortification done by building huge walls of wood, brick or stone around the capital city. So this is the difference between the Mahajanpada which are developed during later Vedic period. पिछले चैप्टर में हमने जब पढ़ा था तो जो राजास थे उनकी कोई कैपिटल सिटी नहीं थी, वहाँ पे कोई फोर्टिफिकेशन नहीं था. लेकिन जैसे जैसे लेटर वैदिक पीरियड आ रहा है, दैट इज अराउंड 500 BC, we see that there is a evaluation of Mahajanpad, capital city, and fortification of the capital city by using the material like wood, brick and stone. So it means that there is a maximum movement of people and there is also the development of big cities and resources are also utilized on large amount. In this map you can see there are Mahajanpad like Gandhara, Kuru, Panchala, Koshala, Vajji, Magadha, Anga, Avanti, and these are their capital cities. Like Vaishali is capital city of Vajji Mahajanpad. Rajgriha is capital city of Magadha Mahajanpad, etc. Then there is a question came in mind, why there need to build the fortification wall around the capital city? Why these forts are built? These forts were probably built because people were afraid of attack from other king and needed protection. It is also likely that some ruler wanted to show how rich and powerful they were by building very large, tall, impressive wall around their city. And also it is the way in which the land and people living inside fortified area could be controlled more easily by the king. So these are some reasons for which these capital cities are fortified on a large scale. But here one important point there, that building such a huge wall require great deal of planning. Thousands if not lakhs of bricks and stone had to be prepared, and this in turn mean enormous labor. But how all this would be managed? Because for building these large fortification wall we require labor, thousands of men, women, children, and to arrange all this the Rajas also require resources. But from where he get resources? Then the next point came, taxes. Now Raja started to impose taxes on the people, and from which he gathered resources and started to building fortification wall around capital city. In this figure you can see the remnants of these fortification wall that are found on the excavation by Archaeological Survey of India. So how massive construction of this wall. The fortification wall at the Kaushambi, and this is a picture of remains of wall made up of brick found near present day Allahabad, जिसका नाम अब है प्रयागराज in UP. The part of it will be probably built about 2500 years ago. Means this is the part of fortification wall at Kaushambi, and it is built around 5500 BCE. अब जो ये नया राजा था, दिस न्यू राजा along with building fortification wall around the capital city also started maintaining large army. Soldiers paid regular salary and maintained throughout the year. Some payment probably made using punch mark coins. अब जो वैदिक पीरियड था वहाँ पे हमें कोई कॉइन का जिक्र होते नहीं दिखा, लेकिन लेटर वैदिक पीरियड में हमें पंच मार्क कॉइन्स का इधर जिक्र मिलता है, जिसकी इंफॉर्मेशन हमें चैप्टर 8 में दी हुई है. हम थोड़ी इंफॉर्मेशन अभी ले लेते हैं. सो व्हाट इज पंच मार्क कॉइन? पंच मार्क कॉइन इज नथिंग बट द कॉइन ऑफ अ रेक्टेंगुलर, स्क्वायर और राउंड शेप which are either cut out of metal sheet or made up of flattened metal globule. They are not inscribed coin, but they are stamped with the symbol using dies or punches, and hence the name of coin is punch mark coin. These coins are found over most part of subcontinent and remain in circulation till early centuries of common era. So this is the figure of punch mark coin. It is not inscribed, but they are punched by using stamp on the metal globule. अब यहाँ पे एक important question दिया है. List two way in which Raja of Mahajanpada were different from those of mentioned in Rigveda. So the Rajas in the Mahajanpada started to perform big sacrifice so that people accepted his supremacy. But during Rigvedic period there is no such a big sacrifice to become Raja. They had capital city which were fortified, but during Rigvedic period there is no such a capital cities. The large army, soldiers paid regular salary, and there is also use of punch mark coin during Mahajanpada. But in Rigvedic period there is no regular army, no imposition of tax, and the position of Raja is also not hereditary as in the case of Mahajanpada. In Rigvedic period the skillful warrior is chosen as Raja by the people, but during Mahajanpadas the Raja's position become hereditary. So these are the important differences between the Raja in the Rigvedic period and Rajas which are formed in the Mahajanpadas. The next point is taxes. We all see that the Rajas which are from Mahajanpada are mobilize large resources, but these resources are collected by imposing taxes on the people which are living in the capital cities. So as the rulers of Mahajanpada were building huge fort, maintaining big army, needed more resources. They also needed officials to collect these resources. So instead of depending on occasional gifts which are brought by people, as in the case of Raja of Janpada, they started collecting regular taxes. So which are different taxes that these Rajas started to impose on its people? So different people impose different taxes. For example, first is farmer. The tax on crops were the most important, and this was because most people were farmer, and this tax is usually fixed at 1/6 of what was produced, and the name of tax is bhaga or share. So this is the first tax that imposed on farmer. Second, on craft person. There were taxes on craft person as well, and this could have been in the form of labor. For example, weaver or a smith have to work for a day every month for the king as a form of tax. So here labor is the tax. Third is herders. Herder also expected to pay tax in form of animal and animal produce. Fourth, There were taxes on goods that were brought and sold through trade. And fifth, hunter-gatherer also had to provide forest produce to the Raja as a tax. So these are different group of people who pay different amount of tax according to their occupation, like farmer, craft person, herder, trader and hunter-gatherers. Then here question is given, what do you think would have been provided by hunter-gatherer? Probably hunter provide fresh meat and egg, and gatherers provide honey, nuts, fruits, medicinal plants from the forest. Along with it, animals like elephant are also provided for the army. लेटर वैदिक पीरियड में एग्रीकल्चर करने का प्रोसेस भी थोड़ा सा बदल गया था. सो व्हाट आर द चेंजेस इन द एग्रीकल्चर ड्यूरिंग दिस लेटर वैदिक पीरियड इन महाजनपद? There are two major changes in the agriculture around this time. One is growing use of iron plugshare. This meant heavy clay soil can be turned over better than with the wooden plugshare, and hence more grain can be produced. Second, people began transplanting paddy. So instead of scattering seed on the ground, the plant first sprouted in form of sapling, and then these saplings were planted in the field. And hence this transplantation method in the paddy led to increased production. And as many more plants survive, the produce also increase, and hence Raja can able to get maximum tax. However, it was the back-breaking work. Generally, who work on this? Slave men, women, who are also known as dasas and dasis. Along with it, landless agricultural labor, who are known as kamkarats, had to do these transplantation work in the paddy field. So these are the changes that are encouraged by the king to increase the production of food grains. What are changes? Introduction of iron plugshare and transplantation of paddy. Now here we have given as an example a Mahajanpad known as Magadha. So here in today's Bihar region, this is the Magadha, and capital city of Magadha is Rajagriha. During later Vedic period, this Magadha became most important Mahajanpad in about 200 years. Why? Because the rivers like Ganga and Son flowed through Magadha. And these rivers are very important for the purpose of transport, water supply, making land fertile. Along with it, the Magadha has forested region in which there are elephants who are captured and trained for the army on a large scale. These forests along with provide wood for the building of houses, carts and chariot. There is also the mine of iron ore in the region of this Magadha, and these iron ore are tapped to make strong tools and weapons for the army. And these are the reasons that is why these Magadha become very powerful rulers, and the most powerful rulers were Bimbisar and his son Ajatasattu, who used all possible means to conquer other Janpada. Mahapadam Nanda was also another important ruler, and he extended his control up to northwest part of subcontinent. राजगृह, जिसे प्रेजेंट डे राजगीर कहते हैं, ये होती थी मगध की कैपिटल सिटी, and this region lies in today's Bihar, which is the capital of Magadha. That is, Rajgriha was capital of Magadha for several years. And hence important question can be answered that why this Magadha become very prosperous state? Because there are the rivers which are used for transport, water supply and also making land fertile. There are the dense forested region who are providing elephant, wood for building house, carts and chariot. And also there are the iron ore mines were used to make strong tools and weapons used in the army. Then after some time this capital, that is Rajgriha, shifted to Patliputra, which is today known as Patna. ये जो मगध था उसके कंटेम्प्ररी ये अलेक्जेंडर रूलर हुआ था, that is around 300 BCE, and this Alexander live in Macedonia in Europe, who wanted to become the world conqueror. Of course, he didn't conquer the world, but he did conquer the parts of Egypt and West Asia and came to Indian subcontinent. But when he reached up to the bank of Bias and wanted to march further eastward along in the Indian subcontinent, his soldiers refused. Why? Because his soldiers were scared as they heard about the rulers of India who had a vast army of foot soldiers, chariots and elephants. So this is the prestige of Indian rulers, that is Magadha rulers in those times, that the Alexander who want to become world conqueror, his soldiers refused to further march in eastward in Indian subcontinent because the rulers of India in those times were very powerful, have very strong army, either foot soldier, chariots or elephants, and they are very resourceful. So in this way, the dream of Alexander is not fulfilled due to our strong, powerful rulers in those time in India. Now here is question the one: in what ways the armies in this chapter is different from the armies which is described in Rigvedic period? We all know that during Rigvedic period there is no regular army, but when there is a situation of war, the all working men become soldiers and fight the war. But in lean time they are not related with the army work. But in later Vedic period the situation changed because the Raja started to place regular army and giving them regular salaries. But this is not case in the Rigvedic period. Now here the second Mahajanpad, the name is Vajji. While Magadha became powerful kingdom, Vajji with its capital Vaishali, which is also in Bihar, was under a different form of government which is known as Gana or Sangha. So here, that is here our Magadha, and here this Vajji, and capital of Vajji is Vaishali. And the form of government in this Vajji is very different from the form of Rajas in the Magadha. Like in Magad, there is a Bimbisar, Ajasatul Rajas. In Gana or Sangha, there were not one single Raja, but many rulers. Sometimes even when thousands of men ruled together, and each one known as Raja. These Raja perform ritual together. They met in assembly, decide what had to be done, how, through the discussion and debate. For example, if they want to attack an enemy, they met to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. However, women Dasa and Kammakara could not participate in this assembly. Both Gautam Buddha and Mahavir, about whom we will learn later, belong to this Gana and Sangha. Means when Gautam, before becoming Buddha, and Mahavir also belong to this Gana. That is, they both are Kshatriya and belong to Gana. And some of the most vivid description of the life of Sangha is found in these Buddhist books, because these both belongs to this Gana and Sangha. But what is the difference between Gana and Sangha? Gana is used for the group that has many members, and Sangha means organization or association. So, the case in Magadha is that there is a single ruler who rule on the territory. But in the case of Vajji, there is a Sangha in which the group of Raja decide together, discuss, debate together on the issue, which is not the case in case of Magadha. So, this is the difference between the Magad Mahajanpad and Vajji Mahajanpad. So, what would you think? Who will become powerful Rajas? Single Raja or a Gana or Sangha? The Rajas of powerful kingdom tried to conquer Sangha, but this Sangha lasted for a very long time, till about 1500 years ago, when last Gana or Sangha conquered by Gupta ruler, about whom we will learn in chapter 10. So these Rajas, which are part of Sangha, were last long than the rajas, which are acted singularly, like in case of Magadha. And last Sangha is conquered by Gupta ruler. अब यहाँ पे एक अकाउंट दिया हुआ है, द एक्सपर्ट एक्सेप्ट ऑन द बुक which is written by the Buddhist writers. The name of book is Digha Nikaya. So this is the account of Vajji Sangha from the Digha Nikaya, the famous Buddhist book, which contains some speeches of Buddha. And these Digha Nikaya written down about 2300 years ago, that is around 300 BCE. Here there is information given about Ajatsattu, who is king of Magadha Mahajanpad, and the Vajjis, which is Sangha. Ajatsattu wanted to attack Vajji, and he sent his minister named Vasakara to the Buddha to get his advice on the matter. तो ये अजातशत्रु जो किंग था उसे वज्जी पे अटैक करना था, और इसलिए उसने एडवाइस के लिए क्या किया, उसका जो मिनिस्टर था वसकरा उसे बुद्धा के पास भेजा और उनकी एडवाइस लेने के लिए पूछा. देन बुद्धा आस्क वेदर वज्जी मेट फ्रिक्वेंटली इन फुल असेंबली. व्हेन ही हर्ड दैट दे मेट इन फुल असेंबली, then Buddha replied that Vajji would continue to prosper as long as they held full and frequent public assembly, they met and acted together, they followed established rules, they respected, supported and listened to elder. Vajji women were not held by force or capture. Chaityas, that is local shrine, were maintained in both town and village, and wise sons who followed different belief were respected and allowed to enter and leave the country freely. When all these are followed, then it is very impossible to defeat Sangha. And this is the advice that is given by Buddha to the minister Vasakara. So here is question the one. In what ways the Vajji Sangha different from the other Mahajanpada? Try and list at least 3 differences. So very first difference is that the Vajji Sangha is the Sangha of many ruler, but Mahajanpada, any particular Mahajanpad is belong to single ruler. These Vajji Sangha met in assemblies to discuss important matters, but in Mahajanpada there is no mention of such a important assemblies. In Vajji Sangha there are debates, discussions, and the matters are discussed by following consensus, but in Mahajanpada the single ruler by his order performing his duties. So this is all about the later Vedic period king, kingdom and republic. So which are the keywords? Raja, Ashwamedh Yajna, Varna system, that is Brahman, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Janapad, Mahajanpad, fortification which is done to capital city in Mahajanpad, army, tax, transplantation, Gana or Sangha, and democracy. So when in India there is a formation of Mahajanpada, in the world elsewhere, that is in the country Greece and Athens, what would happening? So here we have given find Greece and Athens in your atlas. So this is our atlas, this is our India, and here this is Greece, and here capital Athens, that is Greece and Athens. So what happened here? Around 2500 years ago, means 500 BCE, the people of Athens set up form of government which is called democracy, and this lasted about 200 years. What is the form of democracy in those days? All free men over the age of 30 recognized full citizen. There was assembly that met at least 40 times a year to decide important matter. All citizens could attend this meeting. Appointment for many positions made through lottery. All those who wanted to chosen gave their name, and then some were selected through lottery. Citizens expected to serve in army and navy, but women not considered citizens. So there is a question. What is this form of democracy? Not like today, somewhat different. Why? Because women not considered citizens. Also, many foreigners who live and work in Athens as a merchant, craftsperson did not have rights as citizens. Besides, there were several thousand slaves in the Athens who work in mine, field, household, workshop. They too were not treated as citizens. So we can say that though there is a democracy, but was not a true democracy, because women, merchant, craft person and the people who work in mine, field, household, workshop are not considered as citizens. So this is the case of Greece when there is a Mahajanpadas in India. So this is all about this chapter. Thank you for watching.